Welcome students, you've been asked as part of your study skills development to prepare a development plan, a C-SMART development plan, based upon your own reflection of understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Based upon those weaknesses or areas for development, you're going to look at specific actions to help you progress and develop further with those. So, SMART or C-SMART, C being challenging, is a well-established tool that you can use to plan and achieve your goals. There are a number of different interpretations of the acronym's meaning, so if you read different books you might get a few different interpretations in terms of the initial letters. But when you do use SMART, you end up by creating clear, attainable and meaningful goals, and develop the motivation, an action plan and support needed to achieve these. So I just want to explain what each of these meant. So obviously I've mentioned C as being challenging. Your overall plan needs to be challenging, but it also needs to be specific. So your goals should be written simplistically and clearly define what it is that you're looking to do or to achieve. They need to be measurable, so you have tangible evidence that you have accomplished the goal. By asking the questions or considering how much, how many, how will I know when it's accomplished, should help you. Often putting a date or a number related to the action should help you. Are your goals achievable? They should stretch you slightly so you do feel challenged, but defined well enough so that you can achieve them. You've obviously got to possess the appropriate knowledge, skills and abilities needed to achieve the goal, of which I have no doubt in that you can do that. You can meet most goals when you plan your steps wisely and establish a time frame that allows you to carry out those steps. And as you carry out those, you can achieve goals that you may have seemed previously impossible when you first started. On the other hand, if a goal is impossible or unachievable, you may not even try to accomplish it. So achievable goals are there to help motivate, whereas impossible goals can demotivate you. So that's just being aware of that. They need to be realistic, based upon the constraints that you work within, such as time or financial, for example, or the technology or resources you've got available. And time-bound, often known as timely. Goals should be linked to a time frame that create a practical sense of urgency or results in tension between the current reality and the vision of your goal. Without such tension, the goal is unlikely to produce a relevant outcome. Usually there's some sort of final date, with often smaller, shorter term dates to keep the momentum going. And this is an area where students often get this a little bit wrong. They might mention end of semester, for example, where really we're probably looking for something being, again, more specific. So SMART development plans, or C-SMART development plans, aren't just restricted to you being a student in development plan. These are common across all businesses when they're undertaking appraisals, or undertaking just goal setting. So this really has come from business and practice. So let's look at what this could look like in a little bit more detail for you. So if you were writing a development plan, it could look like this. You've been given templates on Moodles that you can use. Obviously you can use any template that you like, you don't have to be restricted to the one that I'm sharing with you. So in the top I've got area for development, so that really should be that area that's been identified as part of your reflection or SWOT analysis if that's something you've been doing in class. Then you've got your area for development, so that's what you're looking to achieve, and you need to list each of those individually, okay, in separate columns, separate rows, I should say. Then you've got your actions. So this is actually what you're going to do, how you're going to achieve that area of development. So you can have some specific actions broken down. You might break these down in bullet points. And as I mentioned, there could be a number of different ones there. Moving on, you've got sources. over here are all the support you require. So this is really thinking about what support, what resources do I need to make this happen, to make me achieve this. And for each of those actions that you've identified in this area, you might have different resources and support required. And then you've got your last column here, by when. That's your time bound area. So when you're looking to hope to achieve this by. So I've got an example here underneath. So the area for development is to ensure Harvard referencing is consistent for books, as an example. So being quite specific, I've mentioned books. Maybe I'm really good at journals and I haven't added that in. Moving across, I've now broken that down into a number of specific actions that I can use to undertake that work. So you can read the list here. I've mentioned the resources or support required. And that's really through you might talk to your peers, find out what ideas they've got in terms of support and resources as well. And then you've got your time bound thing. Now here, if you notice what your thoughts here prior to next submission, bearing in mind what I've just mentioned, how specific is that? Perhaps I'd benefit from changing that date and having individual dates for each of these different areas. So perhaps I want to overall achieve my area for development by next submission. But I should really be putting some extra dates in each of these areas. And I might even put them next to each of those action points. It's up to you. It's your development plan. And really, that is it. As I said, smart planning, smart planning, action planning is a proven way of ensuring success, and I wish you success with this. Thank you for listening.